I'm Lydia. I've been making videos about simple living for several years here. I've lived a minimalist lifestyle for even longer. At the start of this channel, my journey focused mainly on decluttering to a rather extreme level, as I wanted to clear room in my physical space along with my headspace to start anew. Now that I've cleared the path of obstacles and distractions, it's made it possible to uncover the scope of what I really want and not what society tells me to want. I choose to showcase exactly that here on this channel, my minimalist home and simple way of living. A life that is as in tune with nature as possible, a simple life with limited stress that is easy and peaceful. I see myself eventually living in a remote cabin in the woods, but for now, I'm content. I think minimalism and simple living teaches us this, to be happy with the small pleasures of everyday life that we have now. So the projection of my simple life that I share here on this channel is everything I learn about this way of living along the way, so that maybe I can help others looking for a simple way of living too. One that feels like a true way of living, one that is free from agenda. So my minimalist everyday carry has definitely changed throughout the years, and I think that's only natural as our seasons of life change. For instance, a few years ago, all that my minimalist carry consisted of was my phone and my keys with the AirTag. 'Cause believe it or not, even in a minimalist home, sometimes I misplace my keys, so that comes in very handy. But then it changed a little bit, this everyday carry, and I would sometimes, if you can all remember my last video, carry a little crossbody bag occasionally, and that was if I was going a little bit further than just locally around the town where I live. So you could say that my everyday carry changes a little bit depending on how far I'm traveling. So really what I'm talking about for this video is even local little ventures out, because I walk practically everywhere. A few years ago, when I was just walking locally, all I would take is this. But since this little girl came into my life, you could say I need to take a little bit more. So now my minimalist carry consists of this.
Sorry, I don't understand.
He doesn't understand. Consists of this 7-litre Kanken bag by Fjällräven, and rather fittingly, it obviously has the little fox on it. Is that a coincidence? I don't know, I just kind of like the brand. But anyway, aside from brands, aside from all that, what I like is it is the perfect size for what I need now at 7 litres. Which, to give you all frame of reference, because sometimes I think the literage doesn't really sound to the true size of what it is, although obviously volume wise it does. But it is about 2 hands in size. So I'm going to get a little seat in the corner and I'm going to show you all what I now carry in my minimalist everyday carry, aside from my phone and my keys, although to be honest, for the most part they still live in my pocket. Just remember to take them out of your pocket before you go to the loo, because that is a mistake I have sadly learned the hard way. Let's go over there. So Zala is not too happy with me today because I moved her bed for the intro of this video. But now that I've sort of done the intro, we'll move her little bed back so that she can sit there. Do you want to get in your bed, darling? Do you want to be in there? Do you want to be in your little bed? Come on, come on, come on, I'll move it for you. Go on, go on, go on, go on. We can move you in your little bed. There you go, darling. I am sorry for moving your bed. There you go. She's happy. She's happy now I've done messing with her bed. So let me show you all what my everyday carry now consists of. So I will discuss the first part. On my keyring, I don't have much. I have a little Monstera keyring just to keep all my keys together, the air tag that I just showed you all, and a house key. I finally don't need any more keys, but coming up soon I do have an additional keyring. As we are van hunting for our minimalist van, that will be the van keyring quite soon when we find our van that we want for minimalist van life. If you can't quite make that out, it is the logo to my other channel, and there is Zala in the middle. So let me show you what's inside. So you could say now that the only thing in this everyday carry that I take out that's actually mine, so to speak, is obviously, as of late in a lot of the videos, I have been talking about my re-questioning of analog versus digital. And for now, I'm reading mostly analog books that I borrow or buy secondhand and then gift away. And that also goes for writing. I am enjoying writing with a good old-fashioned pen and paper, and this has become my sort of organizer where I can organize things in physical form. Now, in the past, I have done that mainly on my notes on my phone. I still do that to a degree, but sometimes I'm finding that when you've got a lot to think about and a lot to consider, particularly creative thoughts, I'm enjoying writing it on physical paper. So because our home has got a little bit busy of late, I've been going to the coffee shop a bit more, and so that can be useful time while I'm away from the home, if I don't take my laptop to edit or work, because I am an academic writer as well as a creative writer, so if I'm not doing that, I take this to also be writing and making notes. So that also means that I need the other stuff for Zala so that she is happy. I do also have a bamboo refillable pen there. I used to have a fountain pen that was refillable, if you can all remember back to the beginning of this channel, but I found that the ink was just sometimes too messy. That's a lot less messy, and I just find that a biro just flows a little bit easier across the page, particularly if you're somebody who writes quite quickly like myself. Sometimes I can't get the thoughts out fast enough. So what is next? Because we don't want to mess up anybody's seats in any of the cafes, and we are lucky that in the cafes and coffee shops here in the north east coast of England, the Yorkshire coast, they are so dog friendly. They're allowed in nearly all the coffee shops, but we don't want to take liberties and make a mess of people's seats. So we take this little blanket and Zala is happy, and that signals to her that when she's on the little blanket, it's time to just relax, do her little doggy things, and Mummy's going to enjoy her coffee and writing. So to keep Zala busy and happy, more to speak, she has her breakfast, because for her breakfast she just has dried kibble. Obviously more than that, but that is what she has. So we give her a dried kibble. She has a little bit of wet food later in the day. She's happy with that in the morning, to be honest. It's dried food, it's not just kibble, so she's happy with it. And it's very, very healthy for her. But then, if she's still a little bit bored later on, not only do we reward her with little training treats, but we also give her her daily doggy toothbrush. She does have her teeth brushed as well, but this is also said to be really, really good for dogs, and it is like a little toothbrush, but also gives her like an enrichment activity to do while we are out, so she's happy. After all that chewing, she might be a little bit thirsty, so she has a little pop-up dog bowl, which I just love because it goes flat, very, very minimalist designed. And with that, you may all remember this retractable water bottle, which, to be honest, Zala has been getting more use of than myself. And it goes up bigger, but what's great about it is that you can keep popping it down as you drink the water. You can sort of have just 2 or 3 of these down and it still have water in it. And even when it is fully down, it still holds about 100 millilitres of water. It still works even when it's being pushed down. So there are Zala's little water things. And finally, obviously, we have a little walk on the way to and from the coffee shop. Zala knows her way to the coffee shop very well now and practically drags me to the coffee shop and drags me back. And sometimes she is obviously at the age now where she is learning to go outside for the most part, and they are her little poop bags. Maybe not something that you all needed to see, but that is the reality. So that is all I have in my everyday carry. Poop bags, water, Zala's actual food and her treats, a little blanket, my actual notepad / organiser for doing work, and they practically live in my pocket. So this is what I take most days. Sometimes I take my laptop as well, just because my home is now sometimes getting a little bit noisier because we have neighbours doing renovations. But what I actually love about this, and I can't believe I'm going to say it because I was always for being somebody that only takes these, is I just know that I can leave all this stuff in this bag, because what was happening before was there was this huge ordeal. Every time I had to go out of the house, it was find the poop bags, find Zala's water, make sure she's got her little snacks, make sure she's got a little blanket, and I was making the bag up every time I left the house every day, and actually realised that was taking sort of 5 minutes every day. So by the end of the week, you've obviously lost nearly an hour in time. It's a bit of a nuisance, so why not be better organised and just have one bag that is constantly ready to go with all the stuff in it. And now really it is only her little food things that need filling up and the water before we go out of the door, much quicker than having the ordeal of getting this ready every time we go out the door. So I feel like it's a better organised minimalist carry for my new phase of life that I'm in, which is having a little puppy to look after. And also the one other thing that is sometimes added to this is perhaps every 2 or 3 days I add my little black shopping tote, which folds up and inside itself also into this bag, so that when I'm out on the way back from getting Zala, I can call to the shop and get a few things. So that is it. Hope you've all enjoyed this minimalist everyday carry. If by any chance you would like to see Zala's Everything I Own video, which I did as a little bit tongue-in-cheek, that is the video right there. You could go watch that next. You could subscribe here. You just click either of these and you can go straight there. See you all in the next one. Bye!